Hey there, you are watching New Vision TV News. I am Ruth. So just starting off is the news around Uganda, where we look at stories making the headlines across the country. We go to Tororo district. Now the Jopadola speaking community have reason to smile following the translation of the Bible into their native language, a process that has taken decades. The Jopadola Bible will be launched at Busitema University's Nagongera campus in Tororo. The eagerly-awaited function will be graced by the Archbishop of Tororo, Dr. Emmanuel Obo, and Bukedi Decision Bishop George Samuel Bogele Egesa, among other religious leaders. Now, Jopadola, a dialect of Southern Luo, is widely spoken by over 300,000 people, mainly in eastern Uganda and East Africa. Moving on to Kaberamaido district, a man posturing as an official from the Education Ministry and allegedly collecting money from directors and proprietors of private schools has been arrested. Godfrey Abigawa, the district police commander, says a suspect, Joseph Epau, who was also calling himself Wandera, was apprehended while unwittingly receiving money from people that had set him up for arrest. He is alleged to have visited private schools, presenting himself as Joseph Wandera from the ministry, as well as receiving money from a mobile number that bears the name of Joseph Epau. When he was intercepted, he revealed that he was a resident of Katinge village in Kaberamaido. News from Kampala: 5 people have escaped with minor injuries after a truck hit a train near Mukwano roundabout in the city, but they were not severely hurt. Now, the Fuso truck carrying maize grain en route to Namavi knocked the locomotive at about 5 a.m. on Friday. The train driver and his assistant survived, as did 3 other people who were near the accident site. Issa Kalisa, the train assistant, said the train driver hooted for long, as is the procedure, but the driver of the truck did not heed to the signal. Concerning news from Yumbe district, patients at Kuli Kulinga Health Center 3 are struggling to get treatment after a strong downpour and winds ripped off the roof of the general ward. At the time of the destructive rain that ravaged the district this week, there was one patient admitted who was later rescued. Angolinga Yusuf, who is the in charge at the health facility, says the biggest challenge at the moment is the lack of transport means to refer patients to other facilities. Closing off the news around Uganda is a story from Amuru district, where the Ministry of Water and Environment, in partnership with Amuru district local government, has started demarcating a 20-kilometer sketch of Owi Stream, which starts from Amuru Town Council and joins Ayago River in Amuru Hot Springs. The exercise, spearheaded by Silvano Afai, who is the Regional Wetlands Coordinator of Northern Region, is aimed at regulating human activities that degrade the wetland. During a joke, Lanyero, the acting Amuru District Natural Resources Officer, says most of the wells in the district are drying up due to human activity. But once the demarcation is done, the people who are involved will have to leave to pave way for the rejuvenation of the area. That is it for the news around Uganda. Next is the news around East Africa and around the world. In the news around East Africa, a state-run airport operator on Thursday said Kenya closed one departure terminal at Jomo Kenyatta Airport in Nairobi after fire sparked by a baggage system malfunction forced authorities to evacuate passengers and staff. In Tanzania, has given the clearest indication yet that it will reconsider harsh laws that have seen the media landscape shrink under the President John Magufuli's government. According to Mail and Guardian news portals, the admission of review was made when the Information Minister Harrison Mwachebe met with the 2 media rights groups in the city of Dodoma. In Southeast Sudan, now the United Nations has announced $11 million of emergency aid to help displaced families return home. The money from the UN Central Emergency Response Fund targets 268,000 women, men and children who had been internally displaced by conflict. Beyond the East African region, let's look at the news around the world. From the UK, Theresa May has written to the European Union to request a further delay for the withdrawal Brexit deal until 30th June. The UK is currently due to leave the EU on 12th April, and as yet, no withdrawal deal has been approved by MPs. In Washington, the U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on Wednesday raised the change agenda of the Democratic Republic of Congo's new president, Felix Tshisekedi, hailing his action against corruption and other long-term scourges. Tshisekedi, who took office in January in the vast country's first peaceful transition of power, met Pompeo in Washington on a trip where he also spoke to business leaders. Pompeo expressed support for President Tshisekedi's change agenda, focused on fighting corruption, strengthening governance, advancing human rights and accountability of human rights abuses and violations, promoting stability and security, and attracting American investments in the DR Congo. In Dubai, Saudi Arabia has arrested at least 8 people, including 2 dual U.S. Saudi citizens, in an apparent crackdown on supporters of women activists whose trial has drawn commendation from abroad, an association and a rights group said on Friday. The 11 women on trial had campaigned for the right to drive and an end to the kingdom's male guardianship system. Their case has intensified Western criticism of Saudi Arabia's rights record, already in the spotlight after last year's murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi by Saudi agents. Closing off the news around the world is a story from Cairo, where jihadist group Islamic State Thursday said it had killed 13 Nigerian soldiers and 5 troops from the West African anti-militant force in attacks over recent days. Now, Islamic State West Africa province, which split from Nigeria-based Boko Haram in 2016, has carried out a series of attacks in the last few months. That is it for the news around East Africa and around the world. Next is our Daily Pal of Africa series. That is it for the news around East Africa, and in our Daily Pal of Africa series, we look at the deep Lake Bunyonyi. Now imagine being abandoned on an island surrounded by the deepest lake in Uganda. Reason: you got pregnant before marriage. Now, this was the culture of a Ugandan tribe, the Bachiga, who used to let such girls die of hunger or even drown as they crossed to the mainland from the punishment island found on Lake Bunyonyi. Now, in this Pal of Africa series, we explore actually Lake Bunyonyi. Lake Bunyonyi lies in the southwestern part of Uganda in districts of Kisoro and Kabale. The view of this lake has got romantists visiting it each and every now and then. Its fresh water has attracted so many people, regardless of tribe, culture, nationality, to at least spend most of their exciting days of the year at its shores. Bunyonyi's shores are incredible. The sight will leave you speechless. The fancy lodges built around on every island, and the trees giving you the shade that you require. Tourists live with unforgettable memories. The 29 islands on this lake are concentrated in its central part. Punishment Island holds a rich history that will interest you when you spend a few days at Lake Bunyonyi. The history that lies on the Punishment Island, which is also called Akampene, will never be erased from the hearts of several Bachiga families. Many of their sisters, daughters, and potential wives were left to die here because they got pregnant before marriage, something that was similar to being blasphemous in their earlier times. Cruel as it sounded, it was culture that taught many to be patient. Like here, the Bachiga girls of today, this practice is no longer practiced. Lake Bunyonyi is a perfect place to relax since it will offer you various activities to engage in. These include swimming, canoeing, boating, island hopping, hiking, biking, birding, nature walks, bathing, and village visits. Being one of the deepest lakes in Africa, swimmers never see it as a hazard to exercise their swimming skills. Now, for more Pearl of Africa stories, visit our website, which is newvision.co.ug/Pearl of Africa. And now we speak business in the Handshake with Lynn Komjisha.
Well, hello there. I'm thinking and hoping that you have your life insured, you have your children's lives insured, your properties insured. If you're not into it, you need to read about it. Well, I have with me Edna Ruth Mamiru. Edna, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Why I'm talking about insurance is because there's been a court order that says that contingency funds kept by insurance companies are to be subjected to tax now. Edna, what are contingency funds kept by insurance companies?
You know how you and I, in our personal lives, have an emergency stash of money somewhere?
Oh, yeah, I do have
just
sometimes.
In case of
just
anything.
in case, yeah.
It's the same thing that insurance companies do. Because they're supposed to pay out premiums in case, or if the emergency, something happens, they're supposed to pay out money.
Right.
But if this thing is so big that they don't have enough money, they can then tap into that money that they've kept aside. So the Insurance Regulatory Authority says that you have to have a certain amount of money on an account somewhere as a contingency fund. But as an insurance company, you can decide to add to that fund. There's the bottom, that there's the limit that they want you to have, but you can add to it to show yourselves in case of anything, So this is money that helps you in case you need, so that you don't have to borrow in case you have to pay out a lot. Money that keeps you stable in case there's any shocks to your business, yes.
So that's the same as the insurance?
Yes.
So why are they calling it the contingency fund? What's the difference?
The difference is this money is set aside and not touched. You can only touch it.
Is it the profit? Or rather the interest that comes off? I don't know.
The regulator says that you should have 500 million put aside on a fund somewhere. As a business, that money is emergency money, you see.
Okay.
But out of your profit, you can say, we have an extra 200 million. Let's add to it. So you have your 700 million there. So if a building that you've insured burns down, you should be able, if you don't have enough in another fund, you can tap into that.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so why the ruling?
Well, the ruling is based on a court case that's been going on for a while, since I think 2013.
Okay.
Gold Star there was an audit by URA, and they discovered that in their books, the people at Gold Star had said that the contingency fund is one of their non-taxables.
Yes.
So they were not, that meant that this money was not added to the money on which they were paying a tax, you see. So definitely there was an anomaly there, because this money, the things that you're not taxed on are things that you use to generate the income. You see, so everything you have spent to make money may be non-taxable. But this contingency fund comes from profit. You see,
that should be
so
taxed.
there was an anomaly there.
So
they contested the ruling. They've been in court all these years, and finally they have said that, you know what, this is not a non-taxable, it should be taxed. So it's really one insurance company that has been in court over this.
And that represents a number of other...
Well, if they audited and found that there are others who have been putting it as a non-taxable, then there's a problem.
I'm sure they are. I'm really sure.
They would have to audit to find them.
Well, so what are the implications with this?
It means, well, it's really that when you're filing your taxes, you should get everything where it's supposed to be. If, as a business, for example, I am running a printery, you know, get off my ink, get off my paper, get off my rent, you know, put them in the area where they're supposed to be, where I'll not be paying a tax on those expenses, because those are the things I did in order to earn this income.
Right.
Then all the money that I've made should be on the right side, and I should pay my tax on that. It's really a bookkeeping thing.
Doesn't this mean they have to visit the insurance? Is there a bill, the insurance regulator or something?
In the law, that income, that fund is actually not listed as non-taxable. So really, yes, in the law they should be
taxing it.
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yeah, because it's money that has been, it's part of a profit. You're just putting in another place.
When I'm getting insurance, am I told about these things?
Well, you as an individual depends on the product that you're buying from this firm. But this was the insurance firm's books, the insurance company's books that had an issue. Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. Oh, well, thank you, Edna.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Lynn. That is all we had for you. Thank you for watching. Be sure to catch more news updates and other programs here on New Vision TV by visiting our website, which is www.newvision.co.ug/video. You can also follow us on social media. Facebook is The New Vision, Twitter is @NewVisionWire, Instagram is @NewVisionWire, and our YouTube channel is New Vision TV. Catch up with me on my Twitter handle. I am Rothy, the voice. Thank you for watching.